pick up. PetSmart, anything for pets.
One winning team deserves another. That's why the Warriors have teamed up with Newfront. As their official employee benefits consultant, Newfront is helping the Warriors achieve their goals off the court so they can focus on being champions on the court. Newfront is not just changing the insurance game, they're changing the way companies can ensure their team is healthy, happy, and motivated, because that's the secret to success. Work, love, play like a Warrior. That's the Newfront way.
Whether on or off the court, the keys to success are the same. On the court, it's ball movement. Off the court, it's workflow. On the court, teams call plays to execute their game plan. Off the court, companies rely on systems to run their business smoothly. MRC Smart Technology Solutions, a Xerox company, is the official copier and office solutions provider of the Golden State Warriors. We offer large and small companies the technology they need to transform the way they work. Visit MRC360.com to learn more today.
Growing up, you were always warned not to get carried away. But in the world of Corteo by Cirque du Soleil, it's all a part of the festivities. Join us in the mysterious space between heaven and earth for the world-class acrobatics, imagination, and humanity of Corteo, a joyous celebration of life. Join us at the Chase Center from August 23rd to August 27th. Corteo thanks its official partner, Air Canada. Get carried away and find your tickets now at CirqueDuSoleil.com.
The roar of the crowd. The sweet sound of a swish. Nothing beats being there live at Chase Center.
Thompson waiting. 3:50 to go in the game. Pulls up, lets it fly. 3-ball for Clay! Wow.
That was deep.
That was way out there by the logo. McCollum never expected him to fire from that far away.
Yeah, big three there from Klay Thompson, and one of a few big threes for the Warriors down the stretch in this one as they again rally after a poor start, and they come back and they beat New Orleans 108-99 to sweep the 5-game homestand. We welcome you inside Warriors wrap-up here on 95.7 The Game. It's John Dickinson with you on a Friday night, and a feel-good Friday night for the Golden State Warriors and for Warrior fans leaving Chase Center as we speak, as the Warriors have climbed all the way back up to the 5th spot in the Western Conference, and they are now 34-30 on the season, 18 games to go, and Steph Curry's return is on the horizon as the Warriors, a lot of different contributions from a lot of different players tonight, all adding up to this win over the Pelicans. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. That is the phone number to give me a call or shoot me a text here on Warriors Wrap-Up tonight on 95.7 The Game. So mentioned the slow start, another one for the Warriors in this one, trailing 35-21 after one, and there were many points tonight where I wondered if the Warriors were going to have enough in the tank, enough energy, enough legs on the second of a back-to-back, but also the sixth game in 9 nights to finish this game off, even after they rallied with a 33-22 second quarter and had a nice third quarter at 28-21 to move from 14 down to up by 4 going to the fourth quarter. And so the Warriors, though, looked a little tired-legged, I think, at different points tonight. Some of the veteran players looking a little bit gassed. I think Draymond Green you can probably put in that category as well. Draymond winds up fouling out of tonight's game. He was frustrated, I think, not really putting an imprint on the game in as many ways as you typically see Draymond do it, but there was just enough from a lot of others. And then Klay Thompson, who didn't look like the back-to-back, now the third back-to-back that Klay Thompson has played here in the last 2.5 weeks, the final 2 games before the All-Star break, and then Klay plays the first 2 games right out of the All-Star break, back-to-back with the Laker game and the first game of this homestand a week ago tonight, and then Klay again playing in a back-to-back last night and tonight, and he looked fresh. He looked like he had a lot in the tank, including that big 3 that we played here coming out of the Open. Great game to cap a great homestand for Jonathan Kuminga. And there's a couple of players I wanted to hone in on here as the Warriors get this win and Steph Curry's reported return now on the horizon, likely to be, barring some kind of a setback, Sunday afternoon in the game down in Los Angeles against the Lakers. But the 14-12 without Steph now, to where the Warriors are 2 games over without Steph and 2 games over with Steph, but to focus on how the Warriors have been able to stay afloat, and 7-4 in this last stretch after it started kind of clunky, 2-4 coming home a week ago tonight, but the Warriors wind up winning the 5 consecutive games to make it a 7-4 through this stretch without Steph, 7-8 in other games this season without Steph. But there's 2 players I feel like on through this particular stretch that stepped up in a big-time way and stepped up in a big-time way on the homestand. And it's Jonathan Kuminga is the first player that I think needs to be singled out. And Kuminga was playing really well coming into this game tonight, and then he had maybe his best game of the homestand in this game tonight. When you look at his 19 points, his energy, he's finishing around the basket, he's dunking the ball, he's rebounding, had 4 steals tonight and a block. And you look at Kuminga coming in, and this was before the game tonight. Kuminga averaging a little under 14 in the first 4 games of the homestand, the 19 points tonight, shooting 56.4% on the homestand, 9 of 13 tonight, with a bunch of it in the paint and around the basket, and part of many second chance opportunities for the Warriors in this game. 16-4, the advantage in a game the Warriors won by 9, the advantage that they had on second chance points. It was a bench point advantage for the Warriors tonight to the tune of 46-29, which allowed the Warriors to win this game and win it in the fashion that they did in come from behind fashion. But yeah, you look at Kuminga, he shot the 3 well on the homestand tonight. 1 of 2 hit the 1 corner 3, but the rebounds have been ahead of his season average, and the rebounds tonight ahead of even the high averages on the homestand. And Kuminga keeping the ball moving. Didn't have an assist tonight, but for the most part, he's been keeping the ball moving and playing 26 minutes a game. In the prior 4, plays 32 minutes. And, I think this is the way you kind of draw it up with Kuminga. You're hoping that he can be the kind of player when the Warriors are shorthanded that can step in and, because he's a younger player, be able to absorb some minutes and push this team through, this veteran-laden team, to the finish line in some of these games, or push them back into the game from down. And he did that in the game tonight. He was a game high plus 13 tonight. So Dante DiVincenzo over the course of 2 nights, and Jonathan Kuminga team high and game high plus-minus contributors for the Warriors in two of their biggest wins of the season, and they're all big at this point for Golden State now with just the 18 games to go. So 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. That is the phone number to participate in the program. How you feeling about the Warriors now with 18 to go, with Steph's return on the horizon? We'll see about Andrew Wiggins beyond that, and, of course, Gary Payton II. Warriors fans are hoping will be back in the fold here at some point between now and the finish line, which is inching closer to about 5 weeks, and a couple of days away. Actually, I think 5 weeks from Sunday is the end of the regular season. And how are you feeling more specifically about the ability for what the Warriors have done on this homestand to translate on the road? And of the final 18 for the Warriors, 11 of them are going to be on the road. So 11 road, 7 home. 8 of the next 10 for the Warriors are on the road. They go and they play the Lakers on Sunday, then OKC and Memphis. They come back for the next 2 home games a week from tomorrow and a week from Monday are Milwaukee and Phoenix. Those are as big a 2 home games as there can be on the schedule. And so the Warriors are going to have their work cut out in those 2. And then it's right back on the road for the Clippers. It's right back on the road for Atlanta, the lone Eastern opponent the Warriors still have to face out on the road. And then after that, it's Memphis again, and then Houston and Dallas before the Warriors come back and play Philadelphia. So the next 3 home games are Milwaukee, Phoenix, and Philadelphia. 2 of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference, and the Suns, who just acquired Kevin Durant, and he's been playing. And the Suns are playing well even before Kevin Durant was into the fold. He's been in the fold these last 2 games, and the Suns have made light work of Charlotte and Chicago on an Eastern road trip for Phoenix. And so will that finally be the opportunity for Durant to play in Chase Center and back in the Bay Area with the fans in attendance? That, believe it or not, something that still has not happened to this point. He has been injured, and/or it was during the pandemic stages of things where fans were not quite yet allowed back in buildings, or at least back in buildings in the Bay Area. So 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. How confident are you that this is a legitimate turning point, that the Warriors' momentum is true compared to the other times where they've been able to come up with this momentum and then it stalls out? And Steph being back, also, do you allow for an adjustment period, not for Steph's game, but for the others who have to play a certain way around Steph, that there is more freedom to play when Steph isn't in the lineup? Again, it's never about Steph. It's not, are the Warriors better, worse? That's all foolishness. So I'm not having that conversation. But the reality for the Warriors is the others, in particular the role players, have to play differently and fit in when Steph Curry is back in the fold. And I think, DiVincenzo and Kuminga are 2 players, and I think Kuminga's role gets lessened a little bit more when Wiggins comes back, whenever that eventually happens, and there is fewer opportunities for some of the younger players. But I think Kuminga's the specific one to be able to know he's going to get a lot of minutes, know he can make mistakes, and know he's still going to be out there. DiVincenzo's a little bit of a different category. The Warriors have really leaned on DiVincenzo a lot when Curry's been out. They've leaned on him even more when Wiggins has been out, and he just doesn't get as much opportunity to play. I think that the DiVincenzo's going to have to play a lot, even if it means he potentially takes some minutes away at the 3 from maybe Anthony Lamb with Curry back in the fold. I think he's going to have to get more minutes here down the stretch, and they're going to have to carve out a little bit of a different role for DiVincenzo than the one they've had when the Warriors have been closer to whole and when they've had Steph in the lineup. There's the adjustment for everybody around Steph, which I think is more significant than the adjustment of Steph and him coming back and what he obviously brings to the table as one of the all-time greats and a champion and an MVP and a finals MVP and all of those deserved accolades that bestow Steph Curry as he prepares to return here to the Warriors. So how confident are you that this is more of a true turning point, and how confident are you that they can carry this out onto the road where it has just been the complete opposite now? And the true test for the Warriors, I believe, is going to be in these remaining 11 road games now, as they are 27-7 at home, 7-23 on the road, and again, 8 of the next 10 away from Chase Center, as the Warriors look to finish strong. And to this point, with the rest of the Western Conference kind of disintegrating beneath them a little bit, this 5-game streak has allowed the Warriors to go from 10th up to 5th, and they trail the Suns by a game. And the Suns, I think, are going to win a lot of games down the stretch. Both teams have 18 to go. If Durant and Booker and everybody among their main guys are healthy, I could see the Suns over their last 18 going 14-4, 15-3, something like that. And so I think it's going to be tough for the Warriors to catch the Suns. Sacramento continues to win. They have won 5 straight, just as the Warriors have won 5 straight. They won again tonight in Sacramento in truly Kings fashion tonight. They blew a lead late and then got a turnover when the Clippers were going to foul down 1 in the closing 15-20 seconds, and then ended up winning the game. Domantas Sabonis got fouled, went to the free throw line. I think the Kings made 25 out of 25 free throws, something like that tonight, and they needed every single one of them because they beat the Clippers tonight by a point. So they win in double overtime against the Clippers a week ago tonight, and then they win by a point in basically the opposite game. They led most of that game tonight, blew the lead, but then hung on and won. Last week in L.A., the Clippers led most of the night, blew the lead, went back and forth into multiple overtimes, and the Kings prevailed in that one. What I'm getting at as far as the Kings go, Warriors 4 back of Sacramento, 5 in the loss column. They still play head-to-head coming up 5 weeks from tonight, the second to last game of the regular season in Sacramento. But the 4-game difference, I think, with the level that the Kings are playing at now, 12 games over 500, they're at their high water mark for the season. I think it's going to be tough for the Warriors to catch the Kings, and the Kings now are closer to Memphis than they are even to Phoenix at 3 versus 4 here in the Western Conference. So 888-957-9570. Let's get it going on the phone lines, and let's go to Philmo Mike. What's going on, Philmo? Good to see you the other night, my man. There's been so many games, I can't remember which game it was, but good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good, man. It was great seeing you. You feel me? I had to utilize my little plug. You feel me? My media pass. And I told the dude that was next to me, like, man, I work at a music radio station, bro. So it's not like I'm a fan. So don't be looking at me all funny because I'm cheering. But anyway, though, Kuminga, I love to see his progression. I need Moody to step it up a little. Steiny's pointed this out to me 2-3 months ago. Moody just be out there. He needs to start being a little bit more aggressive, showing that he can really play and showing that he got what it takes. You let Jerome Tyler go out there and do what he do. Moody, you could do the same thing. They looking good. DiVincenzo, he's not going to be around next year, man. He's way too solid, way too good. I think they got him for like $4-5 million. We could say goodbye to him. So hopefully we could pull something out, you know what I'm saying, and make a nice run for that trophy.
Appreciate the call, Mike. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen for Moses Moody this season. We'll see about next season and moving forward and the like. But I think the Warriors have to like the fact that Kuminga has shown that he can be a legitimate rotation factor potentially in the playoffs, and he had a terrific homestand. He really did. I think his most impactful 5-game stretch of the entire season, and it came at a time where the Warriors absolutely had to have it. And so I think, major hat tip to Jonathan Kuminga for what he was able to do in not only tonight's game, but throughout the entirety of the homestand. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. It's John Dickinson here on Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game as the Warriors get the win over the Pelicans. 108-99 is the final as the Warriors now 34-30 on the season with 18 games to go. And the Warriors going to be on the road here for the next 3 as they take on the Lakers, OKC, and Memphis on the road before coming back home to face the Bucks and the Suns beginning a week from tomorrow. Let's go to Brett on the phones next here on Warriors Wrap-Up. Brett's in San Francisco on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Brett.
Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, I just want to say it's just amazing what a week can do and kind of the difference, the mindset that I have, at least. I know a lot of other Warriors fans, too. Because a week ago, I felt a little bit down. I was starting to kind of buy into the whole we might be dead in the water type of vibe. But now I'm feeling pretty good. And honestly, compared to this time last year, I might feel better about this team right now than last year. So, feeling good.
Yeah, appreciate the call. It's funny. Last year at this time, the Warriors were dealing with injuries. Steph was going to be out and Draymond was out. But they had already shown you the kind of team that they can be because they were 41-13 and it played a good chunk of that year without Klay Thompson. So it really has kind of flipped a little bit when you look at the fact that I'd still rather take what they had built up last year because they showed with all the dudes that they had that they could be a high level, 1 seed, if not a 1 seed, a 2 seed. Once they had the injuries and Memphis got hot, they ended up being the 3 seed. But I think I probably would still take last year over this year and doing it that way where you show over 55 games that you are a legitimate, true contender. But the Warriors, one thing where it's absolutely similar to last year is the fact that the Warriors have the potential to be getting healthy going into the playoffs. And with Steph coming back, Wiggins obviously from the personal issue, and then we'll see about Kevon Looney. We'll see about Gary Payton II, rather. Kevon Looney's always available. We'll see about Gary Payton II and whether he can be a factor for the Warriors moving forward at the end of the year. And the Warriors got everybody back, and we knew what they could do because we knew what they could do when they had everybody from earlier on in the season. The difference this year is the fact that this team really hasn't shown what they can do. They've just done enough to this point to stay afloat and to hang in the race. And I think in some ways they're fortunate the West is so mediocre where 34-30 is good enough to be a game out of 4th and sole possession of 5th. But forget about that. If the Warriors are the 5th best team going, record-wise going in, or the 4th best team record-wise going in, but they're completely whole, and they're still above, you're probably going to have to beat Denver or Phoenix anyway at some point, Memphis anyway at some point in a playoff series. So at that point, you throw the records out. What I needed to see from this Warriors team, though, was an ability to put together some kind of a streak to where they played somewhat close to the level that they were at last year. And now they got to do it a little bit more on the road, and now they've got to do it a little bit more once they get Steph back into the fold and Wiggins and everybody. Because they really, as crazy as it sounds, they've showed the ability to get on a little bit of a run here the last week without Steph and without Wiggins. And the team with Steph and Wiggins and with everybody in their new roles dropping down a peg, with Wiggins coming back and assuming his role, and Curry coming back and assuming his role, and Klay, who's been able to be elite dog number 1 type scorer here for the last month, now going back into his role a little bit. It does change things, and I do think it means that this Warriors team is going to have to reestablish. DiVincenzo's got to reestablish. Kuminga's got to reestablish, and I think collectively they have to reestablish a defensive identity, the offensive identity with players trying to fit their game in that box of being productive with fewer opportunities. And I think, Kuminga and DiVincenzo are the 2 players who I think have made the most of this opportunity with Wiggins and Curry out to be able to show that they can be big-time contributors. And DiVincenzo's really done it all year, but especially when Curry and Wiggins have been out, can you get the similar impact it's not numbers, but it's impact with fewer minutes on the floor, because they're just plain and simple are going to be fewer minutes on the floor for both of them as this team gets a little bit healthier. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570 Xfinity Mobile text line is open here on 95.7 The Game. We have also got the secret sauce of the game, which is coming up here in just a moment. But let's get to Eddie in Richmond next on the phone lines here on a Friday night on 95.7 The Game. What's going on, Eddie?
Hey, what's going on, JD? Hey, man, I love the 5-game winning streak, but my concern is that the confines of Chase is getting them comfortable, is that to be a championship team, it's like they're coming back, which is great. You see the mettle and the grit of making the adjustments, whether it's second quarter or that, notorious, third quarter that we're used to. But it's kind of tough to see them being down double digits every single game. It's great to see the comeback, but I don't know if are we able to put this on the road, because when you look at whether it's Memphis or Denver or even Phoenix, are we going to be able to do that? Are we going to rest on, oh yes, the big three have always won one game on the road, right, on the playoff series? We really haven't seen them kind of turn it on when they need to turn it on. It's great to see that little kind of switch turned on, but I'd love to see more consistency where at least we're competitive, where we're not down double digits, where I think we're playing against the middle of the pack, where that's where we're winning. But I'd love to see when we get into the upper echelon, because you see how Denver just clobbered Memphis and turned it on there when they were down. Can we do that on the road as well with these teams a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, a little bit younger? So just love to get your thoughts on that, man. Appreciate the time, and go Dubs.
Yeah, appreciate it, Eddie. 888-957-9570. I think that's where the Warriors getting a couple of starters back into the fold becomes the key. Because I think what happened on this homestand a little bit is the Warriors would come back in these games, and the next night there would almost be a little bit of a let-up at the beginning, almost like they felt like they could coast. Like the biggest thing, and this brings us to the secret sauce of the game. Why did the Warriors win or lose? Tonight it's a win. What was the deciding factor? Secret sauce of the game brought to you by Proposition Chicken. And the secret sauce, I think, not only tonight, but on the homestand, has been the Warriors' defense, number one, but how hard the Warriors played. And we saw them have to get down in a couple of these games for them to come back, but it really reminded me of that holiday homestand where the Warriors were able to come back and win games and just grind and grit and have some gutsy wins. There were gutsy wins. Tonight was a gutsy win on the second of a back-to-back. The game last night was a gutsy win to come back from down double digits against the Clippers and blow the doors off in the third quarter. It's defense, and the Warriors have played excellent defense. Another night for the Warriors where defense is excellent, coming off a night where they give up, 91 going back here, and then they give up 99 in the game tonight. So impressive stuff. 115-91 last night, and then you look at tonight, they give up 99, and so the Warriors' defense has just been tremendous over the course of this homestand. But you play great defense because you have effort to play great defense, and that's something that I think the Warriors would have a little bit of we can go through the motions tonight because they won, or this team. And this team, as they're currently constituted, without Steph and without Wiggins, they're not good enough to just show up and win against anybody. Not against the Clippers, not against this team tonight in New Orleans, not against Minnesota, not against Portland, not against anybody, really, other than maybe Houston a week ago, and they kind of did go through the motions in that game and still were able to slog it out and win it. But you got to bring the intensity and bring the fire. And the Warriors, it took them a minute to get it rolling, and those are the things that can get you beat. But it's got to take the same thing on the road with Steph and Wiggins, the same energy that they showed in 3 quarters out of 4 in a lot of these games on the homestand. It's got to be 4 out of 4, and you got to get Curry back, and you got to get Wiggins back. The desire has to be there. The desire was there tonight, and that was the secret sauce of the game, brought to you by Proposition Chicken, fried, flipped, fake. This chicken goes 3 ways, now available in 8 Bay Area locations, with the newest one being in Novato. The secret sauce of the game here tonight is brought to you by Proposition Chicken. 888-957-9570. 888-957-9570. It's John Dickinson on Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game. We're going to hear from Steve Kerr. We're going to hear from Klay Thompson. But we're going to pause here first. We'll pause here. We'll come back. Still got a couple of phone lines open. 888-957-9570. It's Warriors Wrap-Up as the Warriors get the win over the Pelicans, 108-99. And you heard it right here on 95.7 The Game. first game out of the break against the Lakers going back a week ago last night, and then their last game before the break was against the Clippers down in Southern California. So 3 straight road games for the Dubs in L.A., and that is when they will be up next here on 95.7 The Game on Sunday morning for Warriors Live, and the tip-off for that one at 12:30. But a good JaMychal Green game tonight, impactful after the Warriors got down 35-21 in the first quarter, 11 points and 5 boards with that block that we just played coming back here in the first half. He finished with 14 and 6 and a couple of blocks for JaMychal Green, and he is not somebody that necessarily is going to play every single night, but he got an opportunity tonight, and the Warriors don't win tonight if it's not for JaMychal Green's contribution in moments where it looked like he was kind of the offense in the first half of this game for extended stretches of time, and really helped, again, the Warriors kind of hang around in this game to where they could get back in it over the course of the beginning of that second quarter. But, big JaMychal Green night. Again, I don't think he's necessarily always going to be in a playoff rotation, but there's certain matchups, and I think center insurance is probably what he provides at the highest level, and he was able to get out there tonight. And Draymond was in foul trouble throughout the course of this game, ended up fouling out. Looney was in foul trouble at different points. DiVincenzo was in foul trouble at certain points in this game as well. And so the ability for JaMychal Green to come in and have an impact, even though it's been a little hit or miss for JaMychal this season, was important as the Warriors wind up winning this game. 888-957-9570. Let's go ahead and hear from the head coach of the Warriors, Steve Kerr. We also have our hardest working player of the game. That's coming up here in just a few minutes as well. But here is the head coach following another Warrior win.
the keys with, the big picture of what we're trying to do each game. And I think it makes some sense that it's happening now because it's the stretch run, and a lot of our younger guys now have been through this. But that's been a problem all year, kind of, being focused on exactly what we're trying to accomplish each night, but also being able to execute the fundamentals that are necessary to accomplish that. So it's starting to come together, but we have to do it on the road first before we can, get too excited.
And Steve, what does it say about Dante, who hadn't made a shot all night, and then huge three there with 3 minutes to go in the game?
Well, he's done that all year. He loves the big moments, and doesn't matter if he's been hot or hasn't made a shot like tonight. He's ready for that big one. And between that shot and the play that I mentioned, the offensive board with the pass to J.K., he just continues to make huge plays for us. Dante's been amazing. He's having an incredible year.
Yeah, Clay hit the deep three to put the Warriors up 95-93, and then Dante DiVincenzo made it 98-94 with a three of his own. And then, the play of the night, we'll hear more on that in just a second here. The play of the night was the offensive rebound off the pool three that looked like it was about 3/4 of the way down. Rims out, DiVincenzo's able to grab it, feed it to Kuminga, and the Warriors went back up 4 at that point, and it was enough to get the crowd into it and really, I think, propel the Warriors to the win in this one, 108-99. But, 8-8, 957, 9570, grit, defense, overcoming deficits. Steve Kerr, again, reiterating what he said a bunch, that he believes that the Warriors have turned a corner here, praising Jonathan Kuminga for being able to attack, and I think Kuminga's fitting into the offense better because really all of his stuff should be short drives, transition, cuts to the basket, where the rest of the offensive flow allows him to get easy ones. And then, if teams are going to leave him open for a corner three, or he gets the ball back after initially passing it in the context of the offense for an open three that has to be taken, then take that shot. Not just look to get out there on the perimeter and cast off from three, not just look to get the ball out on the perimeter and look to put it on the deck and try and drive by somebody from out beyond the three-point arc. So I think Kuminga is really starting to fit into the offense a little bit better. What type of readjustment is there for Kuminga when Wiggins is back, when Curry is back, and the minutes are fewer for him, and the combinations are different? He's found some combinations to play with here, and a little bit more freedom that comes with knowing that you're going to play every night, that I think can lead toward a shift here toward the positive, which has absolutely been the case. Xfinity Mobile text line putting it well, saying Kuminga is growing before our eyes. The 510. The bench looks like they're coming along very well. The West better watch out. I'm telling you guys, I think the West is on notice officially when you look at what the Warriors have done to a bunch of the teams that they've been locked in the Western Conference playoff and play-in race here over the last few weeks. And then Klay Thompson taking it over. Big threes, great defense. I mean, Klay really has had the opportunity to show out with Steph and Wiggins out, and he has delivered. I mean, playing in back-to-backs, setting the tone, leadership, rebounding. I mean, Klay Thompson has done it all for the Warriors, and I mean, it's been tremendous. It's been necessary, and it's been one of the great storylines, the turnaround from Klay after he was so bad, really the first month of the season, and then got progressively better from November to January, and then he's been just terrific, really, for the most part, since the first of the year. And the Warriors have needed every bit of it here to lead themselves now to this 34-30 record. Let's get to the hardest worker of the game, which is brought to you by AC Transit.
Poole tries to penetrate, step back, takes a three off the dribble, popped out. DiVincenzo with a rebound to Kuminga for a dunk. Dante DiVincenzo snuck in for the backside and got the rebound. Warriors 100, Pelicans 96.
And we're going to go hardest working players for tonight, brought to you by AC Transit. I want to give Kuminga the nod first and foremost, just for his effort in the 32 minutes and the plus 13 and the 19 points and the energy and everything that he brought to, I thought at times, a lifeless, tired Warriors team, as Steve Kerr had alluded to. So I think Kuminga's going to get the first nod and be the headliner as far as the hardest working player. But that individual play with DiVincenzo ripping down that rebound and then finding Kuminga gets him an honorable mention nod for the hardest working players tonight on a Friday of the game. Brought to you by AC Transit. AC Transit is looking for hard workers and offering a $2,000 bonus for new bus operators and journey-level mechanics to join their team. For complete details and to apply, visit actransit.org/careers. That's actransit.org/careers. John Dickinson back here on Warriors Wrap-Up. 95-7 the game, 108-99 the final, as the Warriors have won 5 in a row. They're 34-30. It's a new high water mark for them this season, 500. 18 games to go for the Dubs, as they now have 8 of the next 10 on the road. The 925 chiming in. The turning point, the true turning point, will be winning some road games. The 415 asking about Anthony Lamb. JD, did Anthony Lamb just play his last game since the two-way cap is at 49? Tonight was his 49th game. He can play in a 50th game at any point. He is allowed to play one more game as a two-way player between now and the end of the regular season. I did think it was interesting to hear Steve Kerr before the game address the fact that and it sounded like, because the Warriors don't, he can play the 50th game, and then beyond that, he can't play for the remainder of the regular season or the playoffs unless he's signed into the roster spot, the 15th roster spot, which is currently held by Lester Quinones, who, by the way, Warriors had to sign him yesterday to a 10-day contract to expand the full ability for Lamb to play 50 and Ty Jerome to be able to play 50. That had been capped because they had an open 14th roster spot. So Lester Quinones gets that spot for now. And so he gets his 10 days, Quinones does, and then when his 10 days are up at that point, and it looks like there could be some potential overlap there, but it also sounded like Quinones, when his 10 days are up, then the Warriors can make the decision on Lamb, or they can wait. They don't have to make a decision on Lamb right when he hits 50. They can just not play him until close to the end of the regular season, or until they need him, and then sign him at that point. So I don't think anything's coming here in the next couple of days with Lamb, and obviously he can play Sunday if needed. But I thought it was interesting that Steve Kerr basically said when Steph comes back, he said it without saying it in the pregame press conference, Lamb is less needed. And when Wiggins comes back, Lamb is less needed. And I think we've seen Dante DiVincenzo play more 3, which makes Lamb a little bit less needed and more of an insurance policy. I do think eventually, barring an injury to one of the guards, that Lamb is going to be the 15th guy, but I think the Warriors want to wait as long as they possibly can between now and the end of the regular season to add him to that 15th slot. Keeps the flexibility and the options open if there is some kind of an injury. And so I think, and it sounds like maybe if Steph is back in L.A. on Sunday, maybe they start to go with Anthony Lamb inactive, needing one less shooter as well, because you're getting the greatest shooter in the history of the game coming back and starting as the point guard against the Lakers if everything goes according to plan. So stay tuned, but Lamb does have one more game remaining among the games that he is eligible to play as a two-way player before he would have to be converted. Before we hear from Klay Thompson, let's go ahead and pause for our ID here at the top of the 11 o'clock hour.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco. Always live on Twitch, YouTube, and the free Odyssey app.
All right, thanks to Steve Kerr there. John Dickinson back inside Chase Center here on Warriors Wrap-Up, the 415 on the Xfinity Mobile text line. Yeah, Kuminga, the 415 writes, is going to get some run when Lamb sits. I think Kuminga and DiVincenzo both are going to try to an enhanced role for DiVincenzo compared to the time that that when Steph and they've had the full guard complement. And I think we'll see. Kuminga, I know Steve Kerr's also said he really likes Kuminga and Lamb being on the floor together, but tonight it was more Kuminga, the finisher for the Warriors in this game, part of the closing lineup with DiVincenzo and Clay and Draymond Green before he ended up fouling out of the game as well in the ball game tonight. So, yeah, that was an option. He finished over Looney until Draymond wound up fouling out of the game in this one. Warriors get the win. Second time, quick note here, that the Warriors since 2014-15 have gone undefeated in a 5-game homestand. That, according to Elias, the last time back in December of 2015. Since then, the Warriors have had 7 5-game homestands. Now, we're talking 5-game homestands specifically. In each of the other 5, the Warriors went 4-1. It looked like maybe that was going to be on the table tonight, but the Warriors able to rally and complete the sweep of the 5-game homestand to get their 5th straight win and improve now to 34-30. Let's go ahead and hear from Klay Thompson, one of the heroes of tonight and one of the heroes of the homestand and really the last 2 months for the Warriors as Klay addressed the media downstairs here at Chase Center.
Klay, Steve says that he feels that you guys have turned a corner over the past 5 games. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think guys are figuring out their roles, and I think we're in great condition, and we're just having fun above all. And I'm having fun, and I'm sure the whole squad is as well.
How do you take that on the road? Because you guys have had a pretty drastic drop-off when you're not here.
You just realize how important all these games are from here on out. You know, we aspire to have home court. That's especially in the first round. So it's a great challenge, and it's really out there for us to take, and we just got to embrace it. I mean, we only have 17 regular season games left. It's insane. Went by so fast.
Klay, how confident are you that you guys can take this defense on the road with you on these next 3 games?
I'm very confident. I just know that we've been trusting each other more and talking. Our communication's been great, and we got some great defenders. So I'm very confident that we'll have the same effort on the road.
And what did you guys? I asked JK this, but what did you try to do against a guy like Bi defensively?
You try to get into his body because he's so long. He's going to get to his spots, but you just got to try and be physical with a player like Brandon. And you have to understand he's going to score, but you just want to make it as difficult and tiresome as possible.
Klay, you've had to carry this team offensively in stretches during this win streak. Jordan did it last night, but to see that the bench outscored New Orleans' bench 46-29 tonight, what does that say to you?
Wow, our bench has come so far, and these guys have been sticking with it. I mean, JaMychal Green, what a great minutes he gave us tonight. Like 3 block shots, finishing at the rim. Our bench has really improved, and as we get whole again, it's just going to pay off so much down the stretch.
What does it say about this team that you guys have been able to take care of business without Steph and Andrew Wiggins and climb a few spots in the standings with Steph's return imminent?
I think it says that we're very talented, and our system allows us to all be ourselves. Like I said, our depth has always been a strength, and it just reveals that we have very talented players on this team and hard workers.
Jonathan Kuminga said that chemistry is one of the reasons why you guys have been able to turn a corner defensively. Is that something that you see has been a key for you guys?
Absolutely. I think just being tight on rotations and trusting each other and playing for one another is when we're at our best.
Hey, Klay, Steph said he's expecting to come back on Sunday. Gary's back to practicing, individually, and hopefully Wiggins is back soon. What's it just like knowing that there's reinforcements coming and you guys are playing at a high level right now?
It's exciting. No time to relax, though, just because Steph's coming back. We can't slouch our shoulders and expect him to save us. We got to keep playing with the same mindset and the same effort, and it'll just make us that much better. But, I mean, we're all so excited to get our guys back.
Klay, you guys obviously have been great in the third quarter and the second half these last few games. But do you think going on the road, a fast start is even more important?
It's important, but it's the NBA. We're going to play some great teams. We're going to go on their runs. It's about withstanding those runs. Like tonight, we got down 15. We didn't panic. It's not ideal, but if it happens, I mean, we've shown we're capable of coming back.
Yeah, the Warriors have been capable of coming back, but they have not been capable of coming back at the level that they have been at home on the road. And the defense, as Steve Kerr mentioned, has been atrocious. Really all year, it's been a tale of two teams, home and away. The defense has been much better. They were allowing 100 points per game on the homestand. 99 tonight for the Pelicans in this one after the 35 in the first quarter. That's all the more impressive because you look at that, the Warriors 64 over the final 3 quarters tonight. That's excellent defense over the final 3 quarters on the second of a back-to-back. And the effort level, the care level, the intensity level, the focus, the game plan specific stuff as well, which I think has been a big key as to why the Warriors have been better defensively. All of that is going to have to be locked in at a much higher level than it's been throughout the 5 games of this homestand, even with Steph coming back, because as we've talked about a lot, and we're going to talk about tomorrow on Warriors This Week, for whatever reason, the pieces just haven't fit together as well as consistently with roles when Steph has been in the fold and when the Warriors have basically had close to their full team. It's been harder for Steve Kerr to carve out a rotation with the projected top 8 or top 9 than it has been when he's had fewer players available, and this team has been forced into grind mode on a game-in, game-out basis for these games that they've played at Chase Center. All right, that'll do it for tonight. Great stuff. Quick turnaround. Back at it again. Warriors This Week. Join me and Whitey Gleason tomorrow, 10 a.m. until 1 here on 95.7 The Game, as we'll be continuing the conversation about the Warriors as they hit the road for 8 of the next 10. Now winners of 5 in a row and 34-30, which is good enough for the 5 seed right now in the Western Conference. Thanks to everybody in our San Francisco studios, as always, highlighted by Sterling Bennett. I'm John Dickinson. Warriors get the job done tonight, 108-99, the final, as they do it and come from behind fashion. And you heard it all right here on 95.7 The Game. We'll talk to you Sunday morning for Warriors Live at 11:30, Warriors and the Lakers from down in Southern California. And you'll hear it all right here on 95.7 The Game. Good night.